I got in some parts today I thought might be interesting. You remember this was the 1.3 gigahertz long range pepper box for the 1.3 gigahertz video receiver, and I had gotten in the EagleEyes and converted it into a diversity setup with one video receiver there running off the pepper box and a second video receiver here running off of a cloverleaf antenna that's really great, 360 around you up close. And the pepper box is basically a long range receiving antenna that's kind of got a narrow beam width, only like 160 degrees in front of it. Can it see? And in those extreme, it's not a very good signal. So about 45 each side of straight in front of it is really sweet. Outside of that, it's just less. And I've also talked about antenna theory, transmitter and receiver electronics, that these things are made up to be physically the same size as the frequency of the wavelength you're transmitting and receiving on. In this case, 1.3 gigahertz frequency signal is what's been transmitted and received here. And of course, different frequencies will have different sizes. And you can see the size of this great big old thing. And you can see the size of a 1.3 gigahertz mushroom antenna. This is a 5.8 gigahertz pepper box. Yeah, there's a little difference in size of these two because the frequency's much higher in this. Therefore, the physical size of it is smaller. It's smaller and smaller. Now then, I'm going to turn this antenna system into both a 1.3 gigahertz diversity system and a 5.8 diversity system by mounting this little pepper box basically up here on top of the other pepper box. I mean, there's so much difference in size of them. It's just going to be easy to do. So let me do that real quick, because I'm just going to take a 5.8 gigahertz receiver and some of that nice double-sided tape I talked about on my adhesive video and stick it on the back of it. It won't take but a second. So there it is, doing 5.8 gigahertz in addition to 1.3, and that's actually another 5.8 receiver there with a little cloverleaf antenna on the top of it. So you see, just as the cloverleaf antenna for 1.3 gigahertz is physically bigger than the cloverleaf for 5.8, the pepper box for 1.3 is physically bigger than the pepper box for a 5.8 receiver. And these are just some physical characteristics of antenna propagation, the sending and receiving of radio, straight from the days of crystal radios right up through others. So technically right now this is a 1.3 video receiver running through a diversity controller so that the best signal is sent out. And then here's a 5.8 receiver and another 5.8 receiver that can be set up. Just unplug the connectors, plug the two 5.8 in when I want to do 5.8 in the field. When I want to do 1.3, just plug the 1.3 into the diversity controller down here, the EagleEyes. It was in another video. Now this doesn't quite work out. As you can see, I don't have any space right here for the connectors to bring the wires out to go down there. So this is just kind of a mock-up. Probably what I would do is put a piece of wood right here across that's maybe 4 inches wider on each side than this is, so that I could put these out here, this out here, this right here, and I guess that would solve it. Just a piece of wood on one side would fix it all, wouldn't it? Again, this is either going to run direct wire from right here to the goggles, or I can put in a 5.8 gigahertz transmitter on this setup, and I can do that anywhere on the side here and stuff, because it's only going to go 20 feet or so to my goggles and have a wireless link with the goggles. So this is pretty much going to be finished for both a 1.3 gigahertz and a 5.8 gigahertz receiving system. So the ground station part of receiving antennas and receivers is pretty much wrapped up with a big bow on it. Just some little work for figuring out exactly where to. I guess I could put this receiver down here and let the antenna wrap around here. Sticking out here, that little 5.8 receiver pepper box would work just as good pointed forward. So that's all that's left. Let's just figure out exactly how both systems are going to be mounted on the back. And then this works for everything. Still want to get the Yagi extreme directional antenna working on the 1.3 on the pan and tilt, but that's still in process. Thank you.